Angels walk amongst us. I know, because I am one. You're listening to Angel Talk. Oh, my blessed friends and new people. I suppose we're all friends. We've been together in all the timelines, all the lifetimes, and moments like these, we get to reunite. And I get to sit with my beautiful friend, Julie Ryan. This is like Christmas, birthday, leap day, all the magical days together when I get to sit with Julie. My friend Julie Ryan is a psychic medium and medical intuitive, inventor, author, entrepreneur, podcast and show host, author of spiritual books. So Julie, I'm going to talk about you, Julie, like you're not right here. So just breathe in the awkwardness. Julie calls herself a buffet of psychicness. I love that. Because she's a multi-talented intuitive who can scan for medical conditions, communicate with spirits, both living and deceased, because we're all spirit inside this beautiful tailored coat we designed before we got here, right? She facilitates energetic healings and even connects with animals in past lives. She's been refining these abilities for over 25 years and emphasizes ethics, only scanning with permission and honoring confidentiality. Before fully stepping into her intuitive gifts, Julie has had a prolific 35-year career as an inventor and businesswoman. She developed surgical devices used around the world and founded 9 companies across 5 industries. Julie hosts the popular Ask Julie Ryan show, a live international broadcast where she scans callers and delivers intuitive messages and facilitates energy healing sessions. I'm going to jump back to that because I really want you to understand what happens. She scans people like that. Then she delivers the intuitive messages about what's going on in their sacred system. And then she facilitates the energy healing sessions. Now, what you do with that's up to you, babes. She also interviews guests on topics like spiritual awakening, energy medicine, near-death experiences, and intuitive healing across the many episodes that she's delivered. Her book, Angelic Attendants, What Really Happens as We Transition from This Life into the Next, explores soul transition phases. She's also the author of Angel Messages, children's picture book series, which I love so much. Also, Angelic Attendants is available to anyone who wishes to have a copy. And I'll put how you can get that in the description of this video and in the episode description of the podcast if you're only listening to it in audio format. Julie, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thanks, my girl. Oh, I just adore you, and I'm so thrilled to be with you.
Same. I mean, it wouldn't make a very good episode, but I mean, my day is made. See ya. That's enough.
I'm the same way. I was this morning. I was like, oh, I get to talk to my girl today. By the way, we just released episode 675 this weekend on the Ask Julie Ryan show.
Are you serious? Does it feel like that much?
It's a lot. I know. And you are still the #1 most viewed show of mine on YouTube. You are the queen, you are the champion, you are the goddess. So of all my 675 shows, when you were on my show the first time, and you've been on my show a couple of times, but the first time is still the all-time most viewed Ask Julie Ryan show. So all you guys who are Rachel fans, go to Ask Julie Ryan on YouTube or Ask Julie Ryan on any of the podcast networks and just type in Rachel's name and you'll find her.
Well, here's what happened. Julie, when I was on that show with you the first time, I hadn't done many interviews where I told my story. So I was just going to talk about, I'm a psychic medium who talks to angels. That's what I was going to do because that's what I had prepared. But I felt so safe with you.
No.
My angels said, just tell her everything. She knows how to hold it. So all of a sudden, in a very messy, but totally real, authentic way, I heard myself saying, oh, and by the way, I'm a real angel. And I was like, Rachel, what are you doing? What are you doing? But my life changed in your presence because you allowed it. And that's what you do for people, Julie. my life changed in that moment, and you created a container for that. And I know that's how you do your work, because no matter what career that you've walked into, including this one, this vocation, I'm not going to call it a career for you because you're totally into it, your vocation. You create this beautiful, sacred, safe container that people will say, scan me, baby. So you can see it and then integrate with their team, which would consist of their angels, well, all their helpers, including God, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
then
it's
help
all
them, because
spirit.
the person you're with doesn't need to hold back, because it's you, Julie.
You're gonna make me weepy.
You're just so wonderful. Cookie,
Oh.
can you adopt me?
Absolutely. I could have had you when I was 5. No, no, no. I'm
I
old.
got
I
a
don't
great
know.
great
Am I
mama.
old
She's
enough to be
great,
your
but
mom?
no,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think so. And we've probably always been family or
I
sisters
know.
or something
I could be your
in the
fairy
coven.
godmother.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
yours too.
Okay.
I'll bring you tea. Read for me, please, Julie.
Oh, how funny.
But I think
Well,
that's why that episode blew up, because we were authentic with each other. So thanks.
yeah. I didn't realize that that was the
Yeah.
first time that you let the world know what your true lineage was.
Yeah, I was on your show.
Oh my gosh, I'm so honored. That makes me weepy. Goodness. Well, it's funny, Rachel. Thank you for those kind comments. It's funny because people send me emails all the time and they say, "You're so kind." I'm thinking, what do you think? I'm going to be mean to people? It's just,
Some people are.
I mean, mean in the woo woo space when somebody's
Um,
coming to you because, like, a medical problem or they want to talk to their deceased loved ones or something. I can't imagine somebody being mean or cruel.
I can't imagine it either. And also, this world is a very big, it's got a lot of layers in it. And I think people come to the spiritual place seeking help, and we've all been hurt by people when we're vulnerable.
Yeah,
So I'm
maybe.
sure people are surprised by your kindness all the time. They're surprised by mine sometimes, I think. But yeah, also, your angels just said that you can be snarky, but you save it for your loved ones. Is that true?
I I really have curtailed that as I've
Me
aged.
too.
I used to, but now I do my best to just, it's not worth getting upset over. I mean,
Oh,
it's all just nonsense.
yeah.
And yeah, when my husband's on my last nerve, I think, okay, well, he's having a time. So find out what's going on before I
Yeah.
react. And I think that's the big thing is look at it from a different perspective. And if something feels bad to me, I do this instantaneous check, Rachel, and I call it the 2 minute rule. And it
Mhm.
goes like this. Is this going to kill me in the next 2 minutes if my husband Tim's being snarky? Yes or no? No. Okay, so I know it's a fake fear because everything that feels bad comes from fear. And then
Yeah.
usually I'll just laugh and I'll think, okay, he's frustrated about something or needs me, and I go down and I'm just calm and works out great.
Yeah, it fades away.
Yeah.
And if it's a bigger issue, you'll get to it when things aren't so heightened.
Right, right. And I find that I'm in my mid 60s now, and I find at this age, I don't really have big issues that come up. I can't think of the last big issue that's come up in a really, really long time that was a dramatic, life altering thing. I just haven't had them. I lost my best friend last fall very unexpectedly. She died in her sleep. And Rachel, I'd
Wow.
just been with her. We'd been friends since I think I met her when I was 12. And our
Mm.
families were connected for 4 generations. And I'd just been with her. She lived in Columbus, Ohio. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, originally from Columbus. And I'd just been with her less than 48 hours before she was fine. And then I get this call that she died in her sleep. And I'm like, what?
Oh,
And I
wow.
cried for a day on that. That just about tore my heart out. That's the biggest thing I can think of that's happened. But, or and, I talk to her anytime I want, and she
I was
calls
going
me
to
on my
say,
phone, Raged. She
does she
calls me
really?
6 times so far. She will Her phone, of course, has been disconnected, her cell phone, but it'll light up when it's just sitting on my desk. If I'm working on the computer or something, it'll light up. It'll be calling her number that's now disconnected, and it'll come on, it'll ring, and then it'll answer and say, "This number is no longer in service." But then I know that she wants to talk to me about something. So I've never had that before, but she
So
doesn't.
when
Her
that
name was
happens,
Lisa.
do you stop what you're doing right then and then take a moment to connect with her? Is it something like that? Or do you just kind of give her a wink? I know you're here, babe. I love you.
Oh no,
What's
I
that like for
connect with
you?
her. I
Okay.
connect with her. Oh
Because you
yeah.
know she has something to say.
That's a big deal. When a spirit in heaven is calling
Ring a
using
dingy.
my phone to call her, absolutely. And her name was Lisa Mirtha. That was her maiden name, Mirtha, and I called her Mirth. And so my phone will light up and I'll say, Mirth, you need to talk to me about something. And then boom, the connection's there, and we're going back and forth. So
Mm.
yeah, I haven't had that with anybody else so far. So what a beautiful thing. But yeah, we're all here to live the human experience, and very unexpectedly. And I've had family members pass unexpectedly, not overnight like this, and not somebody who's totally healthy. And so when she died, I got the news, and then I immediately got her spirit on the line. I said, "What the
What you
hell? What
doing?
happened?" And she said I had a massive heart attack in my sleep, and then proceeded to tell me. She said, "It's just like you talk about the book." She said it was great. And so it's cute.
I hear that so much from people. I loved it. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And they always help us share that with their family in the way that's the best way for them to hear it. That their passing
exactly.
was just the way it was supposed to be. Because, the family's grieving.
Right.
You can't just say their passing was wonderful,
Right.
unless that's what's supposed to come through.
Well, my main spirit guide is a dead pope named Clement the Sixth.
Are you
And
serious? Oh, you're a Catholic
he
girl
showed
like
up.
me.
I know. So he shows up one day, Rach, and he goes, and he's got his hat on and his shepherd's rod, the whole vestments, whole run. I couldn't tell what color his shoes were because I was on a table. I was with my mentor, and all my deceased loved ones' spirits are lining both sides of the table that she's using to do a healing on me. And he shows up, and I said, "Well, who are you?" And he said, "I'm Clement." And I said, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I've never heard of a Pope Clement." And he laughed. And he said, "Well, I was number six." I said, "Okay, great. How may I help you?" And I'm thinking, why is this guy here? Why is this spirit here? And he said, "You're supposed to teach the world what happens when somebody dies because people are so afraid." And it's glorious because I'd seen it several times, many, many times by this point. Saw it the first time when my mom was dying. And he said, "You're supposed to teach the world." And I said, "I really appreciate your faith in me, but I'm a businesswoman. I'm not doing that because people will think I'm nuts." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything you've done in your life is to prepare you for this. So you just get on with it. People are so afraid to die." And he said it's been bastardized over the millennia. There's nothing to fear. It's glorious. And I said, "Again, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm really not interested." And so I go to my car to leave, drive out, drive home, and I did an internet search on my phone, Rach, and I looked up Pope Clement the Sixth. This guy was in office during the Black Plague, when 2/3 of Europe died, and
Oh,
he's best known for his prayers for the dying and his prayers for the dead. And I thought, Ryan, you can't make that up.
yep, that's right.
And so,
When dying
yeah,
didn't
and
look
then
easy and everyone was
no.
afraid.
And I thought, well, so I'm in mass, I'm in church a couple years later, and I'm sitting between my husband and my son. And my favorite priest in the whole world in my whole life, Father John Fallon, our pastor at the time, was saying in his sermon from the pulpit, "Wouldn't it be nice if somebody could tell us when we die if we're really greeted by angels and the spirits of deceased loved ones?" Because everybody's so afraid they don't know if they're going to fry or they're going to fly. He's saying this in his
Well put.
sermon. And I'm getting elbowed from my son and my husband. And I just said, okay, God, seriously? You're giving me grief about this from the pulpit, for heaven's sakes. And so then I finally just said, okay, I'll do it. Took some
It's
prompting.
funny. That was your response to, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
mine
I'll
to
do it.
God too.
Yeah.
Like loving resignation. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I live in the deep South. I thought I'm going to have men dressed in white hoods and capes, burning a cross in my front yard.
Yes,
And that has not happened. People have been very receptive.
me neither. I'm from small town Iowa, and it's wonderful in a lot of ways. And also the religion can be tightly put in a box. So when I came out as a psychic, I was really concerned about how it would affect my parents and my brother and his family. And I still am to some degree. I'm very gentle about it. But I had that fear as well. It's never happened because who is our employer? God.
Yeah.
God's not going to let that happen. But I love your response. Okay, I'll do it. Because I had that moment too. I was in teaching in a classroom, and I had a similar moment. And I remembered that kind of sweaty resignation. Okay, God, if we're going to do this, all right, let's go. But you got to show me the way.
Right. Right. And every once in a while over the past 30 years, Rachel, I have had somebody, it's very rare at this point, but I'll have somebody say, well, I don't know that I believe this stuff. And I'll say, well, that's fine. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
care.
not your job to
It's
convince.
like, if you want to talk to me about it, fine. If you want to talk to me about football or the weather or
Yes.
whatever, I'm fine with that. And they'll
Yeah.
say, well, yeah, I just don't know if I buy it. And I'll say, well, do you pray? And normally the ones giving me grief are very fundamentalist. And I'll say, well, do you pray? And they'll say, of course I pray. And I'll say, great. To whom are you praying? Jesus, God, whomever. And I'll say, well, do your prayers ever get answered? And they say, yeah, all the time. And I'll say, okay, so you get information from Jesus about the way you're supposed to go and you're getting guidance. Oh, yeah, all the time. I say, okay, so when you're talking to Jesus in prayer, is in his body sitting next to you on the couch when you're talking to him? They say, well, no, of course not. And I'll say, oh, you're talking with his spirit. And their eyes about bug out of their heads. And you could just see the light bulbs going off in their heads. And they said, I never thought of it that way. I said, we do it. We all do it all day long. It's the same thing. It's just learning to develop it to the place where you can instantly communicate with any spirit, whether it's attached to a body or not is
Mhm.
irrelevant. Whether you knew them or not is irrelevant. Whether you know them now, if they're alive, is irrelevant. You can talk to anybody you want.
And give ourselves permission. Give ourselves permission to be our own guides. That we don't need a go between.
Right.
We can have a go between if you really are in tune with your priest or your pastor. But you also don't need anyone to take you to God. You're in tune with God right here. Right. And that's something that I've really delighted in my spiritual journey, is that I love my mentors and my priests and my pastors, but I've learned that they are beside me and not the go between.
Yeah.
That's been lovely. And I've really loved to help other people understand that as they're ready.
Well, that's a business model that's
Yes,
been around
religious business for a very long
for
time,
a
for
very long
political,
time.
financial,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, powerful
And
reasons.
and so if you don't think that you have to go through your pastor, regardless, or your rabbi or whatever, well, then what need do
Everybody.
you have for organized religion?
Nobody's in temple. Nobody's in mass.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
True.
Although
And
our church is
mass,
packed.
yeah, and also mass is the highest form of prayer. We're taught in catechism. When we all gather in prayer, wow, that amount of energy, just looking at it, not from a religious standpoint, but wow, when we all pull together, everybody listening right now, if we were just to think of the word love right now, let's all do it, love. We just changed the timeline.
Mhm.
That's mass.
Yeah. Well, and when I'm at Mass, I'm watching the show from an energetic standpoint. So when certain parts of the Mass, there's energy that comes down from up above outside of the church, comes down on the altar when the priest says, "This is my body, this is my blood." And there's this beam of energy, and then they hold the host up, the communion up, and there's this arc of light that goes out and encompasses the whole congregation. Same thing with the wine, same thing with the ending prayer. I see that. And
Do you
so
see it or feel it, or
I,
talk to us about your gifts?
yeah, I learned how to do all this stuff.
I
I didn't
know.
I didn't grow up with dead people chasing me, or if I did, I didn't know anything about it. No, I learned how to do all this stuff. And this is what I teach people from
Yeah.
all over the world. And I love it because we've had people so far from 15 countries that have taken my training, and everybody can do this. We all come in with the ability, and
Yes.
it's just a matter of developing and enhancing it. And so I teach an online class in the spring, and then I teach an in person class in the fall. And my next one's in Atlanta, October 24th through the 26th. So come join us in Atlanta. And we about raised the roof on the
I
hotel. The
bet.
vibe is so high. But when I'm in church or anytime, I'll see things in my mind's eye. I'll feel them. I'll smell them. I'll hear them. I use all of my senses, and they've all come in as it's same. We lay neural pathways. You want to
Yes.
be a basketball player. You shoot free throws enough times, you don't even have to think about it. It's just automatic. Same,
Yes.
that's what I've done with this. And interestingly enough, Rachel, I had Dr. Daniel Amen on my show, and he did a brain scan on me because I wanted to see if there was a part of my brain that was more lit up when I was doing woo woo, which woo, by the way, means source in Taoism.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know that until recently.
Hmm. I
And
know we've been
so,
using it as a flyaway term, but
yeah,
it's powerful.
it's powerful. So,
Mhm.
Dr. Amen, I went to his clinic. They did this SPEC scan. It's kind of like a CT scan. And he said, yes, that part of your brain is very busy. And he calls it the God spot. And he said mine was very developed. And I equate that to doing it so many thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of times over the years, probably hundreds of thousands at this point, that neural pathway in my brain, it's just instant. But the thing that really is amazing in my training is that people that don't think they have any abilities, which I didn't think I did when I started down this path, they're doing this stuff within an hour of us starting the training. Yeah, it's a transfer of energy from me to my students. It's only 10% technique. The rest is a transfer of energy, holding your vibration really high. Like what you do when you're communicating with spirit
Uh,
and the galactic forces and people like, entities like that.
I hear myself saying to people, when we work together in the classroom setting or the workshop setting, I like to help you remember what you already know.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
I agree. We all have the ability. Little children, you know this, little children all have the ability to communicate with spirit, to see spirit, to know things. And it's usually about the age of 6 or 7 when their grown-ups say, "Oh, honey, that's just your imagination. That's not really true. That's not really real." Or they have a little friend that says, "There isn't anybody there. Who are you
Be
talking to?
weird.
You're
Yeah.
weird." Yeah, exactly. And they learn to shut it down. So it's a matter of reigniting that, developing it, and then just enhancing it with practice.
Yes. And support.
Mhm. That's why I wrote my children's book series. There's 4 picture books, and it's because I have one here. I can show you. The
Good for me
illustrations
too.
are gorgeous, with the angels in it.
I'd like to call your series uh books for all ages.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's for the parents as much as the
And that's
kids.
how I
But
talk about them to people.
thank you. But I had so many people over the years, usually moms or grandmothers, say, "How do I explain to my child that he can see and communicate with his great grandfather who was dead 30 years before he was born. And he's right in the
Mhm.
information he's getting. How do I communicate? How do I talk to my child about he knows all this information about a past life and we can validate the information with historic documentation online. And then lastly, how do I deal with my little daughter who is when we tell her grandma's in heaven now, she says, no, she's not. She's asleep in that box in the at the front of the room, and you're at the funeral home for the visitation hours. How do I do that? So that's how that series came about.
I love it. There's times I'll just open a page and it's exactly what I need.
No.
It's a beautiful series. I want to go back to the class for a moment because I would like you to help us understand, getting a nudge from your angels and my angels about the importance of taking a workshop with you or a class with you. If you consider yourself someone who was born with gifts, how a class with you could help a person like that. So you don't have to be someone that says, well, I don't have any gifts, but Julie Ryan can help me. What if you're the person that's like, I'm very gifted?
Yeah. I have lots of graduates who've taken many other classes and developed skills over the years, or they were in touch with those abilities from childhood. And they say, I want to be able to connect instantly, disconnect instantly. I want to be able to, my feeling about all of this is you got it all siloed. You got the psychics and the mediums and the medical intuitives and the pet psychics and the past life people and the NDEers. Once you connect with spirit, you can do it all. I'm not sure why it's so siloed. Kind of like
Yeah.
in medicine, you got the pediatrician and the gynecologist and the neurologist and the oncologist and the whatever. It's all still the body, but they specialize. So that's what's different about mine. And it's a vibration thing. You don't have to do anything. It's a blast. It's so much fun. People say, well, I'm going to work really hard and I'm going to try really hard. It's
Don't
just letting spirit
play.
flow. Yes.
Come and
It's
play.
joy. And I always tell people it's one of the most fun weekends you'll ever spend in your life. And afterwards, people always say, you always say that. Oh my God, you weren't kidding. I go, I know. Spirit's pure
Why
love
would
and
you
joy.
do it?
Yeah.
What would you do? Yeah, I think, Julie, you probably stopped working a long time ago.
Oh, it's a blast.
That's
It's so
great.
much fun.
Too.
Yeah,
What a great world. What a great life.
absolutely. Living the dream.
Yeah. Um, you went from a life of creating inventions
Hmm.
to becoming a psychic and a psychic teacher. What created that transition?
Pope Clement showing up.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that was it. And then God, my priest, Father Fallon, saying that was really it. Around that time, I had sold my surgical device manufacturing company in 2015. And I thought, all right, now what? And it was about that time that I was getting not just nudged, I was getting shoved. Like,
You were
hey
getting
girl,
shoved.
pay attention to this. And I really just came up with the courage to do it. And it was different. It's so funny, Rachel. Fun story about that. I made the decision, okay, I'm gonna do it. And so we were putting together my website and with some help. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna be in some business situation and somebody's gonna see my website. It's gonna come bite me in the butt. So I'm giving a business talk in front of all these C-suite executives, men. I don't think there was one executive woman in the room. And it was in Austin, Texas. And I thought, at the time, before I went, my website was up and it was active. So I finished with my talk. This gentleman comes up, he's got his iPad with him and he's got it up to askjulieryan.com. And he said, is this you? And I'm thinking, oh, here we go. This is going to be awful. And my picture's on the homepage. I said, yeah, well, yes, it is. And I'm thinking, oh. And he said, can we sit together at lunch? yeah, I have some questions for you. And I said, sure. And I'm thinking, I'm just going to get pummeled all through lunch. So I sat at this table of eight, Rachel, and it was seven C-suite men and me. And the whole conversation was about woo woo. Not one comment about the business conference, not one comment about my business lecture. It was all woo woo. And I thought, okay, guy, that's all I need to know. And then it was full steam ahead. So again, it was another message from Spirit, God, and saying, do this. And here I am all these years later.
What's the most amazing or memorable thing that you can think of that you've encountered when working with someone's body or spirit?
Oh gosh, I have thousands of stories. I don't know that there is a most memorable thing. I think that just all of this, it's the first thing I've ever done without a business plan and without using measurables because I'm a businesswoman.
Mm.
And people say, well, what are your long-term goals? And I said, I don't know. I don't have any. I said, well,
Wow,
what do you mean
that's
you don't have
big.
any? And they'll say, well, how did you come up with all this stuff? We got 5 YouTube channels in 5 languages, and we release 4 shows a week, and our 8th book is coming out, and all
Yeah.
this stuff, global podcast. And they say, well, how did you come up with all that stuff? I said the idea came into my head, and I was led. The people that show up exactly when we need them, and the situations show up exactly, and it's the most fun thing I've ever done. And nobody ever follows a business plan ever. Even the really big companies,
Mm.
they're just put together
Hmm.
for the finance guys.
Yeah.
But this has been just totally, you know, wildcatter entrepreneur. Okay, that sounds interesting. Let me check that out. And then it just kind of takes on a life of its own and I'm led.
Mm. What is the best part of your life?
That I love what I do. It's just such a joy. People say to me, well, aren't you tired when you talk to a lot of clients all day?
Question two.
Yeah, aren't you exhausted? And I say, no, I'm jazzed. I have to relax. I have to really calm down because I'm in such a high vibe all day and get to, what an honor to be just a itsy bitsy piece of a part to be involved in somebody's life, whether it be medical or they've just lost a loved one or they have a loved one in the later stages of the dying process and they bring me in and I can help identify, how close to death their loved one is and communicate with them. And what an honor. And I
Yes.
get to talk to people from all over the world. And it's just
And it's
been
not random.
glorious.
You are the person that's supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You're especially chosen by spirit to do that.
Oh, thanks. I have 5 graduates that work with me now just because of bandwidth. There are not enough hours in the day. And I'm always trying to figure out ways to help people. They range from you can ask a question for free to you can pay for an appointment. And it's just such a joy. And the people that I get to meet are just amazing, amazing people. And I have these wonderful stories. I had one not too long ago of somebody who, well, it was last week, and it was a woman who was in Vienna, Austria. And I always ask, how did we get introduced? And she said, well, I saw you on a show about a year ago. And I thought, I need to schedule with that woman. She said, and then I got busy and I didn't do it. And then for the last several months, I keep thinking, who was that woman? What was her name? What was her name? And then she saw that I'm going to be part of a summit for my buddy Alex Ferrari for Next Soul Summit or something. And she said, I saw your picture on that ad. And I thought, that's a girl. That's a gal. And she scheduled an appointment with me and I was available. And she said it was within 3 days. And then
Okay, come on.
my favorite story, Rachel, is several years ago, I had a client who is a professional pilot who lives in Honolulu. And I said, well, how did we get introduced? And he said, my grandmother told me about you. And I said, oh, do I know your grandmother? He said, no, she's been dead for 20 years. I said, okay, how's that happen? And he said, she came to me in a dream and she said, you need to talk to Julie Ryan. And he said, I thought, who is Julie Ryan? And he said, and I looked you up online and here I am. So that's how we met.
Incredible.
I thought, I love it when dead people are doing my marketing
Yes.
for me. Yeah,
Yes.
it's great. And I've had similar stories like that over the years. I'm sure you have too, where people
Mm-hmm.
are, they'll have a dream of your name or they'll see you in
Yes.
your name in some random place and they'll just think, I have to talk to Rachel.
Yes. Or we've had a session start in their dreams, and then they'll call me and they'll say, I need to book a session because we've already had a session and I remember part of it in the dream. And by the way, we haven't met yet. Well, at least not when I'm awake. Well, you'll have to fill me in.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that one.
It's just happened twice, but it's
Oh, I love it.
lovely.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Julie, you just make my life so much better and so many other people. So thank you. And sometimes I just really know something so strong in my bones. And one thing I know about you is you're someone that my children and grandchildren and great grandchildren will honor like Mother Teresa.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. What a
Yeah.
compliment. Goodness.
I know it
Thank
seems
you.
big, but I just want you to know that I feel that in my bones because you are kind and you're good and you're honest and you're legit. And I just want you to know that. And I
No,
know sometimes I know you're a real person, just like I am, and you lose your cool sometimes because you're a real person. And I'm just saying you have a human side, and that's wonderful. But I just want you to know I feel that truth in my bones about you, and I don't feel that about everybody.
oh,
I
that's
know that
the
about you.
that's amazing. That's the most wonderful thing anybody's ever said to me. Thank you.
See it in your timeline.
Oh goodness. Well, I do laundry and fix dinner.
Well, I can. That's what I'm saying. I
What?
love
Do
to
all
have
that
all
like
those
you?
sides.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So thanks for being you.
Thank
There
you.
anything you want to say to the listeners?
Say right back at you, babe. Thanks for being you.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, just know that you all have the ability. Everybody has the ability. God, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, it's talking to us, guiding us all
Yeah,
day long. And all you have to do is just listen. When you have a thought that comes in your head and it's kind of random to do something, if it feels good, if you're excited to know more, take that step. And then the next step will appear. It's all part of the joy of living. And in my mid 60s, I can tell you I am in better shape physically and happier than I've ever been in my life. I have more energy. I am, super healthy and happy and way beyond my wildest dreams. And everybody listening and watching can have the same thing. It's just a matter of tapping into spirit. And I'm about joining the spirituality and the practicality. Well, it's a good thing to be spiritual, but how do you integrate that into your life?
get a
How do
lifestyle.
you
Make it
improve
you.
your health and your relationships and your abundance and all that jazz? That's all abundance. Health, everything. That's all abundance. And once you connect with spirit and it helps you live a life of joy and purpose, the rest of it just flows. You don't even have to do anything.
That's right. That's right. Because we're no longer just picking up a deck of oracle cards and we're spiritual for 10 minutes. No, this is who we get to be.
Yeah.
And you're helping us. So thank
My
you.
honor.
Friends, our guest today on Angel Talk has been my dear friend, Julie Ryan. And Julie, tell us how people can get a hold of you and tell us again about your
Yeah.
upcoming engagement.
Yeah, if you want a free copy of the book, askjulieryan.com. It's on the homepage, or you can go to julieryangift.com. That's an easy way too. My training is in Atlanta. We've rented out a hotel that's right on the runway of the Atlanta airport with a free shuttle. It's fabulous. And that's October 24th through the 26th. in Atlanta. Atlanta's the busiest airport in the world. So you can get to Atlanta from wherever you are and come join us. That it'll be one of the most remarkable, fun weekends of your life and enhance your life in every way. And by the way, we have 9 practice groups a week for free for life that come with that training. And that's when your skills really develop, because you go to a seminar or read a book or something, but until you incorporate that into your life and start doing it, you don't really get it.
You'll
And
meet your
so
tribe.
practice groups are really important. All my trainings have practice groups. There's that. Everything's at AskJulieRyan.com. My shows, Ask Julie Ryan, all podcast networks, YouTube, 5 channels, 5 languages, and all the socials are Ask Julie Ryan as well.
Amazing. Well, friends, I'm so happy to sit with you today. You are very loved, and I love you, and we will see you next time. Want to get in touch? Find me on Facebook, Instagram, or rachelcorpus.com.